Yes, my dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Very good day to you guys all out there, wherever you are. This is GH247 News. Ladies and gentlemen, the LGBTQ plus bill finally passed in Ghana. No more soupy, oh. If you are the type that goes around touching your fellow man, the law now is just waiting for the presidential assent. Yes, President Mahama is out of the country. He's out of jurisdiction. Otherwise, we would have signed it last night. The bill successfully passed through Ghana's parliament, been approved by Ghana's parliament. It is left with only the president to sign. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be going with that to that very soon. But hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. South Africa, look, next week, more Ghanaians are going to be returning home. Another 300 badge. Yes. Ghana government is already, the embassy, Ghana's High Commission in South Africa has already started scrutinizing and preparing the next batch. Oh yes, I have the video I'll be showing here on this channel. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you watch it to the end. Ladies and gentlemen, now earlier this week, a news broke out circulating on social media that Cambodia has asked Ghanaians and other African countries to leave with immediate effect. Otherwise, they'll be arrested, they'll be persecuted, and they'll be jailed for 2 years. Ladies and gentlemen, it actually sent a lot of panic waves across. And we were beginning to ask questions. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, Ghana government is always ahead of time. Ghana is always ahead of time. Immediately, we know our honorable, Nyebro Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, he stepped in immediately. And the latest news we received as at last night, is that the Cambodian government came to deny that fiat did not come from them. That news is fake. Ladies and gentlemen, let me read for you from the horse's own mouth. From the Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. He said, Ghana's Minister of Foreign Affairs cautioned that the notice in circulation claiming that Ghanaians have been asked to leave Cambodia is fake. Cambodian authorities have confirmed to us that they have issued no such notice. They have issued no such notice. The Cambodian Ministry of Interior has proceeded to issue a press clarification today, stating that the purported notice is completely untrue. Ladies and gentlemen, the attached letter from the Cambodian authorities is here. I'll be reading also for you. Now, he said, I can, however, assure Ghanaians that prior to the publication of this fake notice, a number of Ghanaians in Cambodia had reached out to us requesting to be evacuated. And we are already being assisted by the foreign, I'm taking that again, are already being assisted by the Foreign Ministry and our High Commission in Malaysia. Our High Commission in Malaysia. Between March and May this year, we have evacuated 85 Ghanaians. 85 between March and May. They have already evacuated 85 Ghanaians. Flight ticket paid. Every arrangement made for them to return home. 85 Ghanaians from Cambodia through Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, now, 76 more are being evacuated to complete the exercise. The welfare of Ghanaians anywhere in the world remains our priority for God and country. Honorable Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa. That is this from his statement that he issued. Now, the press release from the Cambodian authorities is what I'm trying to see. If I can read that also for you quickly. Press clarification. The General Department of Immigration of the Ministry of Interior of the Kingdom of Cambodia has the honor to inform the national and international public that the General Department has observed that recently certain websites with addresses that, as you can see there on your screen, publish informations stating in English, stating Cambodia orders Africans with expired immigration waivers to leave by 31st May, which is by tomorrow, 2026. The General Department of Immigration of the Ministry of Interior of the Kingdom of Cambodia wish to clarify that the information published on those websites is completely untrue. To obtain official information, the national and international public are requested to visit our official website of the General Department of Immigration, as they put it also, to make direct call or blah, 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 blah. Ladies and gentlemen, they've come to deny. So no more panic. Meanwhile, the Ghana government they've already started evacuating Ghanaians that are stranded in Cambodia that want to return home. I'm a proud Ghanaian. This simply means that if I have an issue and I call on my government, I'll be swiftly evacuated. I don't want to say much. I have the videos to play for you. Yes, the videos that I want you to watch, please watch it to the end. And after this, we will be back.
Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. It's a promise that was made that the bill will be passed and upon passage will be assented to expressly by President John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, but for the fact that we have not yet printed a copy of the bill, I would have assured you that this evening the bill would have been assented to.
Without ceremony.
Without ceremony. Unfortunately, the president is out of the jurisdiction. We have not yet printed a copy of the bill for him. But upon return to Ghana, I can assure Ghanaians that His Excellency, the President, will, as promised, assent to this bill and it will come into force. I know that my friends in the minority are going to go out there and try to mislead the public. I am told that instead of remaining in the chamber and putting up a fight based on their convictions, they have absconded, left the chamber, and they are outside attempting to mislead Ghanaians in a press conference. Mr. Speaker, what is it all about? The proponents of the bill propose in clause 9 and clause 10 that subject to the Constitution. And the committee decided to elaborate on the rendition of subject to the Constitution and felt that when it comes to the right to counsel and the freedom of lawyers to represent persons accused of offenses under this act, we cannot treat advocacy in that instance as promoting LGBTQ practice. Same way, the committee felt that they should propose to this House that media houses reporting matters relating to LGBTQ should not be accused of the offense of promoting LGBTQ. And academics, researchers, conducting research into matters of LGBTQ, they should be free to publish their reports. The publication of those reports or research findings should not amount to an offense under this act. And lastly, they proposed that when people practicing LGBTQ go to the hospital and they are attended to by doctors, whether it is counseling, treatment, or surgery, we should not accuse those doctors of promoting or supporting LGBTQ. These are the simple provisions of the recommendations that the committee made to this House. Instead of remaining in this chamber for us to discuss it and build a consensus, our colleagues in the minority have left and they are out there misleading Ghanaians that what is being passed today is a watered-down version of the bill that was presented to President Akufo-Addo to assent to. That is far from the fact. The sponsor of the bill, Reverend Dr. Reverend Ntimfojo, Honorable Ntimfojo, he who sponsored the bill allowed the rendition subject to the Constitution. One of the sponsors of the bill, he allowed the rendition subject to the Constitution. So even if this House had not attempted to elaborate on what subject to the Constitution means, I am convinced that any court would have struck down any attempt to convict a doctor providing medical services to any person involved in LGBTQ. I am convinced that any court in this country would have struck down any attempt to prosecute a media house for reporting on a matter relating to LGBTQ. And I am definitely convinced that no court would have tolerated the punishment of a lawyer who attempts to provide legal services in defense of a person practicing LGBTQ. So, in my opinion, perhaps the committee needlessly brought this proposal to us. But I think that it is out of abundance of caution to make things very clear that the committee proposed these amendments. These are the only issues on which the minority is standing to say that the bill has been watered down. This bill is not watered down. This bill does two major things. One, this bill prohibits any practice of LGBTQ in this country. Two, this bill prohibits any advocacy of LGBTQ in this country. This bill prohibits any promotion of LGBTQ in this country. And this bill punishes anybody who engages in any of these four things that I have mentioned. This, I believe, is what originally was brought to this House in the last Parliament and remains what has been brought to this House. And so I want to urge Ghanaians to accept that nothing has changed. The commitments that this House expressed in the last Parliament and this Parliament remains unalloyed. And today, the bill has been passed to satisfy the quest of many Ghanaians that we should not allow the moral fiber of our society to be destroyed by these strange practices. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank colleagues who have stayed on a Friday when they should be on their way to their constituencies to enable us pass this bill. I want to thank the Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs for the diligence that they have applied in working on this bill. The chairman is a member of the Hajj board and is in Jeddah, but the vice chairperson who has shepherded this bill through the consideration stage must be highly commended and applauded for his performance today in helping us to pass the bill. Mr. Speaker, on that note, I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for sitting through and guiding us diligently to ensure that this bill is passed. I believe my colleague, the minority leader, has no objection to the bill being passed. And if he had, he would have joined his colleagues to leave the chamber. He doesn't have any objection. That's why he sat with us throughout the process to ensure the passage of this bill. When President John Dramani Mahama is going to assent to the bill, I'll invite you to accompany me to the Flagstaff House to witness a president assenting to the Human Family Sexual Rights and Family Values Act that will be signed by His Excellency the President. I believe we have come to the end of the day. There will be no letter threatening the clerk of this Parliament, asking him to desist from bringing the bill to the Flagstaff House. Mr. Clerk, the President is eagerly waiting for you at the Flagstaff House. And he says, as soon as he returns, you should hasten with the bill to him so that, as promised to Ghanaians, he will append his signature to it.
Minority Leader, you have the floor.
Speaker, thank you for the treasure space to also say a few words. Mr. Speaker, clearly this evening, this country has witnessed, Mr. Speaker, in opposition, our friends resisted any attempt at amending their proposed sponsored bill. And today, we know that the very law that they wanted Nana Akufo-Addo to sign, when they were faced with the same law, they amended and diluted that same law. Such a double standard does not pass for a man with principles. It is not enough to say one thing whilst in opposition, and when you get power, you change your stand thinking that nobody can read through. Mr. Speaker, let me draw the attention of the House to some few procedural blunders. One, at page 42, we have been told that motion 41 and 42 were moved. But, Mr. Speaker, the terms of the motion in 41 are clearly spelled out. It is important to let Ghanaians know that at this critical stage, none of the NDC sponsors of this bill was in this chamber. Honorable Emmanuel Kwesi Bejra, whose name is advertised in this motion, was not here. Honorable Sam Nate George, not in the chamber. Honorable Na Adole Sowa, not in the chamber. Honorable Ellen Ajua Intosu, not in the chamber. Mr. Speaker, it is the reason why, without the leave of the House, the Honorable Dafia Mekpo moved a motion. We have paid attention to all that, and then when it came to motion 42, again, none of the sponsors who could have moved the motion was in to move the motion. Mr. Speaker, nobody. Where is Honorable Sam George? Mr. Speaker, he was loud on the rooftops, very loud. Where is Honorable Bejra? The several press conferences he held. And Mr. Speaker, Hansard will be my witness that as a majority leader in the 8th Parliament, when our friends in the NDC introduced this bill and we invited them for discussions, drawing the attention to the danger in certain clauses, they refused. Today, as they take responsibility of governance, they've realized that indeed the issues we raised are still critical. Mr. Speaker, who in this country is NDC trying to deceive? The religious leaders, our chiefs, our civil society? Mr. Speaker, I urge every Ghanaian interested in this matter to pick the law that the NDC pushed on Ghanaians and Akufo-Addo, and pick this very law that they claim President Mahama is going to sign. I know that indeed President Mahama couldn't have signed that bill, and the NDC knows that they cannot present the same bill. So what kind of double standard on principled politics is this? And then you think that out of smartness you can play on words, use social media to deceive anybody. What you've passed today is very obtuse, nugatory, empty. It doesn't address the very concerns you claim you believe in. Where is your principle? Your principle is soiled. You have a soiled principle. You don't believe in anything. You believe in political mischief and political convenience to win elections. And you've been exposed. I can assure you that posterity will judge your conduct. We may be few, but we are armed with principle. We may not have the number to unturn your inactions, but we are principled. Mr. Speaker, let us build a country, whether you are in opposition or in government, let us have some values. Our friends do not have it. Our friends do not have it. But you know, there's a time for everything. Someday, you will be exposed like the way you tried to introduce e-levy in the dead of night. Like the way you tried to introduce 0.75% charges on Momo charges when you even refused to come to parliament. When you were in opposition, you campaigned against e-levy. You came here to say you are repealing e-levy. Then you tried to use an institution which is a subsidiary of Bank of Ghana to reintroduce e-levy. So after all, you also need a revenue. After all, you need a revenue. You came and then you said you are repealing e-levy, yet you imposed Dumso levy on Ghanaians. You came, electricity tariffs have gone up by 28%. You came, water tariffs, 19%. You said women banking. You have not done anything on that. You said you are going to create one job, 3 shifts, nothing. Even you, the MPs, you are shouting. You are not having a bite at the cherry. So, Mr. Speaker, our friends are friends of double standard. You say one thing and do another. You promise those who have lost their investment, you are going to pay all of them. Those who have lost their investment, you said family and friends is bad. That is what you said in opposition. Today we know what is happening at Gold Board. You know it. You spoke against Galamsey. This is NDC. But you know what? 2028 is not far away. Mr. Speaker, 2028 is not far away. You may have the numbers today, but Mr. Speaker, as Ngugi Watiango said in Whip No Child, that the ravening clouds shall not long be victorious. They shall not long possess the sky. Whip No Child. Mr. Speaker, on these veritable words that I have quoted, I shall rest my case and leave NDC and all its propaganda to posterity. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I will not waste anybody's time.
Yes.
I understand how painful today has turned out for the minority. They didn't think that we'll pass the LGBTQ bill. We have passed it. And he's worried that John Mahama will sign it. And that would be a major indictment on the NPP and, of course, on his leadership, because at the time that Akufo-Addo authored through his secretary the cease and desist, the famous cease and desist letter, he was the embattled majority and minority leader. He was the embattled majority and minority leader. So I think that this moment is a very painful moment.